everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jo, and in today's video I am going to be giving you a review of our holiday in the Maldives. But before I get started, please, if you're new here, just to let you know the situation we've got going on, I'm trying to grow this channel, so it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to my channel, like the video if you enjoy it, and of course comment down below with any questions that you have, and I will do my best to get you the answers to them. So let's get straight into it. Last November, or was it October? The end of October last year, my husband and I went away for our wedding anniversary, and last year we chose to go to the Maldives. Bear in mind, it was a very last minute decision. We knew we wanted to go away somewhere, and the year before we'd gone to Mexico, and last year we were considering going to Bali or Thailand, but we just couldn't get our act together. So we kind of settled, which sounds really bad, but we decided to go to the Maldives. We didn't know very much about the Maldives, just that there were a few islands, and friends of ours had been before and said they had a great time, and we knew it was a place that was very beautiful. We'd done some research, we didn't just travel on a whim. We booked the tickets on the Monday and we were out of the country, I think by the Saturday or the Friday, so it was really quick turnaround. I did a vlog and I posted it on my channel a few weeks ago, and I got a lot of people asking me questions, so I thought I would do this video just to clarify and to review our experience out there, the hotel that we stayed at, and hopefully it helps somebody who is watching this. We stayed at the RIU Atoll Hotel, or the RIU Atoll Resort in the Maldives. It's on an island which I cannot pronounce for the life of me, so I'm just going to put the name up there. They have the RIU Atoll and the RIU Palace Maldives, and they are basically two types of resorts sharing one reception, and they take up the whole island. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we got there, and I will tell you about the food, the accommodation we stayed in, the activities, and the general service. But before we get onto that, let's start off with our journey. We flew out from the UK, London Heathrow Airport. We flew from London to Doha, and we had a layover. The layover was about 3 hours long, and then we flew from Doha to the Maldives. We thought that was where our journey was going to end. We got to the Maldives, we got picked up by our rep from the RIU Resort. Very nice gentleman, picked us up, told us that we still had another plane to take, and that was going to be taking off in about, I think, 2 hours time. So in the meantime, helped us with our baggage, took us to a lounge area, which you would have seen in the vlog. It's not really a lounge, it's a lot more of like a food court kind of cafeteria, but the resort paid for us to have a lunch and a drink, and just, it was nice. They didn't have to, but it was nice. It was a good way to kill time, and we were already quite tired. So we went and had some lunch, we had a free drink. By the time we were done, it was time to check in for our next connecting flight, which was taking us from Male to Kudahavu, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Forgive me if I'm murking the pronunciation of these places, I don't mean any offense. So after we checked in, we took a very tiny aircraft from Male to the tiny island which we stayed on. The aircraft was so small, literally they had one entrance at the back, the front was just for storage, and in fact I don't even know where the pilot sat. He had two aisles, literally 1, 2, of 2 seats each, and that was it. I think the plane had maybe a capacity of 50 people. It was really, I think it was the smallest aircraft I've been on. After that, PJ's next, and I'm sure there's some private jets that are bigger than that. We took that plane, and from there we took another transfer, which was a minibus. The minibus took us to a boat, and the boat took us to where we were actually staying, which is where RIU is, the island that it's on. So now I'm going to talk to you about the customer service and the reception. When we first arrived, and it was nighttime, it was about 8 o'clock, it was quite dark, but regardless, we were met with staff who gave us hot towels, which was really nice. They gave us fresh juice to drink while we were getting ourselves checked in. There was quite a few of us, I think maybe 12 of us on the boat, so we all had to get ourselves checked in. They came and gave us wristbands because there's a RIU Atoll, which is where we stayed, and there's a RIU Palace. The Palace is more upscale, but we didn't realize that there was a difference when we were booking. We just thought there's availability here, we're gonna go for this hotel. If you're staying in the RIU Atoll, you can't go to RIU Palace, but RIU Palace people can come to RIU Atoll, and strangely, all the stuff happens on RIU Atoll side. So that's where the restaurants are, that's where the activities for the nighttime entertainment is. So literally the only thing really happening on RIU Palace is that I think you have better accommodation, and I think there are 2 restaurants on there as well. So we were welcomed and we had our bags taken to the rooms, and then we walked down a very long pathway to the atoll side. Literally, it's just a very long deck that separates both resorts on the island. I'll put an image so you can have a better idea of what it looks like. I did give a room tour in my last video, so if you haven't watched it, hit pause now and go back to the vlog and watch it there. It was a decent room. The facilities were clean. We had a balcony, and actually the kind of room that we had was called a standard double room. We booked it using the TUI website, and it was called a double room with balcony view or something like that. The room was clean. There was a mini fridge that had drinks in it. We had a shower. We didn't have a bathtub. We had a shower, toilet. I think it was 1 sink. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. It was standard. It wasn't anything that was particularly wow-ish for me. I have stayed in, I guess, nicer looking hotels, but it really wasn't anything bad at all. So the room was fine, the bed was fine, the pillows, everything was okay. Now, the biggest upset I have with this resort is that they don't do room service. And I've never, ever, 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 ever heard of a 4-star hotel that doesn't do room service. I was like, you guys have got to be joking. So that for me was a real negative, because we had just had a really long flight, or number of flights and journey getting there, and all I wanted to do was put my feet up, relax and get some room service, but they didn't. So I'll tell you what they do have. So I'm going to move on to food. There are 3 main restaurants on the RIU Atoll side. You have Sofia, which is an Italian restaurant that requires booking. It's more of an a la carte, although the starters and the dessert are buffet style, but your main is a la carte. I don't know why they've done that, but that's the a la carte restaurant that requires booking. And then you have the beef steakhouse, which is also a la carte. You have to reserve that. And then you have the doni, which is where you would have seen on my vlog. The doni is basically where you can get breakfast, lunch and dinner. It's buffet style all day, every day. We ate at the Sofia restaurant on one night. The food was good. It wasn't amazing. We didn't eat at the beef steakhouse. We heard it was good, but it just didn't really appeal to us. The doni is where we ate all the time. And in terms of food, it's basically, you go in, there's a big kind of like dining hall where there will be staff that will, lead you to a table for you to sit at, or you can pick wherever you want to sit, but they're there to help. And you basically reserve your chair, you sit down, they'll bring your drinks for you, and then you go into the main, buffet area, and there's a whole selection of world foods. Typically a lot of Asian food, which is great because you are quite close to Southeast Asia. I had a variety of different Indian, Sri Lankan dishes that I hadn't ever had before. And then you will have your standard stuff like cinnamon toast, pancakes, sausages, scrambled eggs, boiled eggs, all kinds of eggs. I did feel that over this course of 5 or 6 days that we were there, the food did become a bit repetitive. There wasn't anything I ate that particularly blew me away, but it was nice to have some variety. There's also a 24/7 sports bar where we spent quite a bit of leisurely time playing pool. Unfortunately, the pool tables are terrible. They are really bad. I'm not a massive pool player, but the cues were short, the table was not particularly straight, some of the balls were a bit scuffed. It wasn't ideal. I feel like they could have done a better job, and Natayan often got a bit frustrated that, they could have done better. There were 2 pool tables, there was a bar in the middle, and there's TV for you to watch football or whatever sports are going on at the time. There's also a snack bar, which isn't really a snack bar, it's just a really big fridge with sandwiches and stuff, but then they also had a microwave where you could heat stuff, and that I felt was a little bit cheap, given that this is the Maldives. People have spent thousands of pounds or dollars or whatever currency coming here for great cuisine, beautiful beaches. The least you could do is have a proper snack bar. And also, you couldn't take the drinks away. So even though it was a buffet, and even though there's no room service, you can't take food to your room. I did read somebody else's review and how much that unnerved them, because they wanted a particular type of beer that wasn't stocked in the fridges. And it was, oh, that's not our policy. But that was my experience. It's just something important for you to know if you are going there. One of my biggest apprehensions about going to the Maldives was just being stuck on an island. Etienne and I are very big on adventure. We like hiking, we like going out, we like adventure, we just like exploring and doing stuff on our own. And I was really reticent that going to the Maldives would mean we're just on one particular island the whole time. But friends of ours had said, there's opportunities to island hop depending on what your hotel arranges for you. RIU Atoll does not do that. RIU Atoll had a selection of activities that you could do for free. So for example, kayaking is free, snorkeling is free. There's a swimming pool, there's a bar at the pool as well. All of that good stuff is free. But they also had other services that they charged for, which is to be expected. So for example, if you wanted to go scuba diving, if you wanted to go water skiing, jet skiing, dolphin watching, sunset cruises kind of thing, they were all available. And we did sign up for a few of them. Now the downside is that it's on a first come first served basis, and not all the activities are available every day. So that was really just the bugbear for us. If you came on a Monday and they told you this activity only runs on a Tuesday, but the Tuesday is fully booked, too bad for you if you're not going to be around for the next Tuesday. And given that that's the only thing on that island, I feel like they could really have done a bit more with their activities. We went dolphin watching. Fortunately, we didn't see any dolphins, but that's not the fault of the hotel. It is what it is. We opted to go snorkeling with a marine biologist, and that was absolutely fantastic. That was recommended to us by another couple who were actually on the island. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done it. Basically, how it worked was that we went out snorkeling. She took us over to the reef, and every now and again, she would stop. We'd come up for air. She would explain to us what was going on, what kind of fish we could see. We saw stingray, we saw barracuda, we saw all kinds of beautiful fish, and she was just generally very good vibes. We went water skiing, or actually more like waterboarding. I started off skiing, but I couldn't even get the skis upright in the water, so I quickly swapped from skiing to waterboarding, which sounds like a punishment, but it's basically, instead of having two skis, you have the one like snowboard kind of thing. That was exhilarating. That was so much fun. The downside to that, I will say, is I feel like the instructors could have done a better job at explaining and teaching how to waterboard. It was, and I don't know if it was a language barrier, but it just kind of felt like the instruction was limited. So I was kind of like, do I get up? Do I stay down? And that wasn't great. And also I feel like they perhaps could have dragged me a little bit slower, because I was like, I just felt like the teaching could have been a bit better. But all in all, I had a great time. The next day I was completely sore. It is very stressful on the body, but it was great. We had a fantastic time. We did not go scuba diving because the depth really wasn't worth for us paying for. We've been scuba diving before in Mexico, and again, I've been scuba diving in Greece, and it just wasn't sounding like it was going to be anything better than what we'd done before. And we were right, because actually when we went snorkeling, we looked down and we could see the scuba divers, so they weren't really deep at all. And I feel like if I'd paid for scuba diving, I would have felt like I had been like shortchanged, because it really wasn't that deep. Yeah, you could see the coral, but you could also see the coral if you were snorkeling. So I wouldn't recommend the scuba diving personally. And let's talk pricing. Specifically because it's organised by the resort, they have a monopoly and can charge you whatever they feel like. I did feel like some activities were on the pricier side than if, there was competition available, but I guess that is just the nature of the beast. You're on an island and that is all they have to offer, so it's kind of like a take it or leave it. And by this point, you've travelled all the way from the UK. You're not gonna not do stuff because it's costing you more, because then it's like, well, what was the point in coming out here? So the activities were a bit more pricey than I feel they should have been. The resort also put on different kinds of live entertainment in the evenings. We didn't go to any of them, which is just our preference. We were often either really tired or just a bit antisocial, so we would just go to our rooms in the evening and watch Netflix, which sounds a bit lame, but that's what we wanted to do. But we know that there were activities or events on every night. I can't really speak on the quality of those entertainment options, but it's there if you ever wanted to. Overall, I would say that the resort is very, very beautiful. The beach is gorgeous, it's clean, the coral is amazing. And actually what we did was we walked over to the other side of the beach where most people weren't, and we took lots of pictures on our last day. It is so beautiful, and I really feel like if the weather was better, we would have had an even better time. But because the weather was pants, I was a lot more aware of everything else that perhaps wasn't up to standard. I personally would have rated RIU Atoll maybe a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5, maybe 7. I think 6.5. Let's be conservative. It's not bad. It's not fantastic either. And because it's such a small-ish island where this is it, you just become really a lot more hyper aware of stuff. Whereas if we had maybe had the opportunity to go wandering onto other islands or to go exploring or hiking or other things, perhaps that might not have made me so hypercritical about the environment that I was staying in. I feel like if you are going to contain people on a small island in your resort with nowhere else to go for the whole week, you need to bring it. You need to, entertainment needs to be on 100, food needs to be on 100, activities need to be on 100. People need to be like so enamored that leaving makes it so difficult because you've had an absolutely amazing time. One other thing that we did do was on our anniversary itself, we went and got a couples massage. I think it was an hour long for both of us. That felt really good. The spa was beautiful. We actually didn't go to the gym, but there is a gym on site as well. The massage felt really, really good. I can't fault that. It was expensive, but like I said, they have a monopoly. It's like either pay this for a massage or get out. There's no other competitors. All I would say is, would I recommend you go there? I'm not sure. I would recommend the Maldives because it's generally a very beautiful place and it has a lot of culture and the people were amazing. RIU Atoll, I'm not sure I would be in a hurry to go back to. Again, I think if I went to the Maldives, I would choose a different resort. Maybe this time I would really stress that I wanted it to be 5-star and look at all the other things that they had on offer. But that was basically it. I had quite a few questions. Would the weather have made it better? Absolutely. I'm not penalizing the resort for the weather, but like I said, I feel like the fact that the weather wasn't great made me a lot more focused on what I could do in the resort. And unfortunately, there wasn't that much that was so enticing. So that is my review. If you've been to RIU Atoll, please let me know your thoughts. It is well rated online. It's definitely not a place that I would ever bash, but this is just my experience. And if you have any plans to go there, drop me a comment below or slide in my DMs, ask any questions that you want to ask, and I will be sure to answer them as honestly as possible. Anyway, that is it for this video. If you have enjoyed this, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!